Accounting Techniques tutorial, page 185. Spreadsheet skills to provide management accounting information. Situation. Cakes and Bakes by Karim Limited is a small owner-managed business operating from a shop in Bradford. It is run by Karim, who makes fresh cakes, buns and breads daily. Using the batch production, you are its bookkeeper, and Karim has asked you to help him look at the costs and pricing of one of its products, a large chocolate fudge cake supplied to local restaurants and sold as a birthday cake. Save the spreadsheet in the appropriate location with the name as shown. In the worksheet batch costs, which is this one here, use the count function in D3 to determine the number of batches and fill, I think that's supposed to be D3 in orange. So I'm going to go to formula, function, count. I want to count how many batches I'm producing. So actual cost per batch. So I'm going to start from here and go all the way across. So I want F7 to R7. I don't know what's gone on here. That's better. And then I can press enter. So it says I have 13 batches. Perfect. I now want to fill that in orange. So I'm going to go home, font, orange. Merge and center the title actual costs over F to R. So let's make this big. Actual cost from F all the way to R. In home, merge and center. Change the format in F8 to S15 to currency in 2 decimal places. So F8 all the way to S15. Right click, format cells, currency 2 decimal places. Use a formula to calculate the direct labour cost per batch in row 17 and overheads absorbed in row 18 based on labour hours using the information in D4 and D5. So I want to do a formula here using these figures here against this hour here. So I'm going to go equals open bracket F16 multiplied by D4 close bracket. Now when I replicate across, the D4 will change to E4. So I don't want that. I'm going to put a $ in front of the D to lock it. So it will stay at D4. The F16, when I replicate across, will go to G16, etc. But when I replicate down, it will go to 17. So if I put a $ in between F and 16, now if I replicate across, just to show you, let me just replicate this across. You will see that the D has stayed. That's because I've locked column D. Now, if I replicate down, you will see that the £5 has stayed because I locked 16, row 16. But D4 has changed to D5 because I only locked the column, not the row. Now I can replicate across. In column S, use an average function to determine the average cost per batch of each material, S8 to S15, labour hours in S16, direct labour hours in S17, and overheads absorbed in S18. So average, I go to formulas. I could do it in FX function, or I could come here and average. I just need to make sure it's highlighting the correct data, which it is. So I can press enter and I can replicate down. It says use a wrapped text so the title average cost per batch in S can be clearly seen. So that's the text. I'm going to go to home. I'm going to go to alignment, wrap text, and you'll see. Now if that column was wide and everything was visible and I clicked on wrap text, nothing would happen. So you need to make sure that you are careful in checking that it does show all information in that one cell on a number of lines. Use formulas to complete the average cost per batch of materials, labour, overheads and total costs in C22 to C25. So C22 to C25. I want to use the average cost. So equals sum, because I want to add up the materials. So from 8 to 15. S8 to 15. 303.1. I now need to do the direct labour. Well, I've already got the total there, so I'm just going to click on 17, as well as the overheads, which is 18, and total cost. So total cost is adding these three, so I can go auto sum, make sure it's adding everything up. There we go. Calculate the prime cost. So prime cost is direct added up. So equals sum, open brackets, direct materials, direct labour. Total cost. Total cost equals total cost, because we're looking for per cake. I just saw that. We're looking for per cake. So I need to now divide that by the number of cakes. 30. I was getting the totals, but it said per cake. So I need to do exactly the same. Total cost, I'm going to get the total cost here, and I'm going to divide that again by the batch size. Markup. Markup. From your studies, you would have been told sales, cost of goods sold, and gross profit. Now, markup is 45, and we're doing markup. That means this is 100. That means your sales is 145. So we want to mark up our figures as a gross profit of 45. So I'm going to go equals, open brackets, C28 multiplied by 45%. Because that will tell me how much I'm marking it up by, which is £6.30. Now I want to round this to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to go to the formula in front of the bracket, in front of the equal, sorry, I'm going to do round, and I'm going to go at the end of the percentage, comma, 2 decimal places. Calculate the selling price in C30. Well, selling price will be the total cost added to the markup. So equals sum, open bracket, these two added together, which means to make one cake is £20.30. Use the top and bottom border to highlight the total cost. So total cost, font, border, top and bottom. Yep. And then it says a double underline to highlight the selling price. Selling price is this one. Double underline. Yep. And then it says fill A21 to 31 in a light green. A21 to 31 in a light green. And take that away because that's not part of it. And there we have it. Our spreadsheet is now complete.